Welcome to Forge Down Under. Let's meet our judges. Shane Savage, Nick Graham, and our guest judge, Jeff Nordling. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the second episode of Forge Down Under, guys. It's great to have you here. Today, we'll be breaking up into two components, the first being a 3-hour forging component. The challenge today is a camping-based knife and fork. We will be judging you based on a rubric, so 3 categories for the first component, which could be up to 15 points per judge. This would be chronological for the second part of forging, or the completion part, where we'll be judging you based on a more complex rubrics, which is up to 25 points per judge. This is very important how you approach it, because we will be looking at little details like fit and finish, fit for purpose, design. So have a think about how you're going to do it, because you can sort of structure your build where you may guarantee yourself better points in certain categories.
Each episode has a theme and is made up of 3 rounds. Contestants receive a challenge that they must start in round 1 and finish in round 2. Each round is judged based on a rubric, and the final score from both round 1 and 2 combined will decide who moves on to round 3, where they will get a new and more advanced challenge. The winner of round 3 will become a Forge Down Under champion.
What do you think when you think camping, knife and fork?
I was thinking some kind of roasting fork and knife to cut it with, I guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking eating fork and knife to that, matching set.
And what about yourself?
Well, I think outdoorsy, I think Bowie knife is what I think.
For
Are
camping?
very large.
For
Yes,
camping,
camping,
yeah.
outdoorsy type thing.
What's the good thing about having a very broad theme? Because I'm very interested to see what you guys define knife and fork for a camping-based theme. Have a big think about it, guys, because it is really good for fit and finish and category. So really, really think about what you want to start.
I'm definitely excited about being here. Any chance I get to do something like this, it's always an honour to come around and do stuff like this all the time. Yeah, I'm 16 and I've been forging for 4 years. I started out on a campfire one day, just found a bit of metal on the ground and hit it with a hammer, and it kind of evolved into what I'm doing here.
Well, I got into the hobby when I was shooting archery. Started shooting archery, thought I'd go out hunting, decided needed a hunting knife and figured I'd have a crack at making my own. Been making for about 6.5, 7 years. I was worried about competing today, but look, I'm average at best. Whatever happens at the end of the day is going to happen. I'm just here to have fun, play with some like-minded people and see what happens.
I started doing blacksmithing in a medieval fair. We went there in the year 2000. I got hooked on that, so I started to collect tools and start up my forge and do some other courses, and been doing that as a hobby since then. No, I'm not confident, but I'll do my best. It'll be fun.
So you have 3 hours to do the basic forging for the knife and fork, and then we'll have a second 2-hour component for fit and finish. So if you're going to add a handle or not, have a think about it. All right, guys, your time starts now.
Go for a bit of design to start
Bit
with?
of a design so that I don't go off the rails completely.
Okay, and what are we thinking?
I'm thinking some sort of like wood turning stake with something you could use as a mallet on the end to bang pegs in, and some sort of Bowie knife maybe to cut paracord, cut up logs, cut kindling, that type of thing.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make the hook holder for now.
Okay.
Ground spike to start with.
Yep. So we've got a couple of different pieces in there, getting hot.
Got a couple of things going. We'll see how it turns out.
What's the thought process so far?
The thought process is to pre-work some of the fork thing.
Yep.
And then start working on the blade and the fork. And just the first part. Still haven't decided on the handle yet.
Okay.
So I'll get there.
Yep.
Just have to think what I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Excited to see what happens.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the way Mike's going. He has a plan and he is very efficient with the way that it works. There's no lost time with him at all.
Yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of fast progression. So whether
Everything he's doing with purpose.
Oh,
Jesus.
You alright, mate?
Yeah.
Got a
Bit of excitement.
That happens, so you got to be really careful when you're forging. It's spring steel.
Yeah.
It's basically the same stuff you use in your car. It's springy.
Trying to find tongs that grip such thin steel.
Did it get you at all? Or it
Yeah,
just grazed you?
I think it touched just under the eyelid, but she'd be right, mate. Remember to wear your safety.
a lot of progress right there.
Oh yeah. Just coming up to 30 minutes in and they've done quite a lot already.
Oh, I like that technique. Smacking it with the brush.
It's interesting everyone's going sort of like a barbecue, like poking fork, which wouldn't really come down to camping for me, because when I think camping, I want something that's going to be lightweight and transportable.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking an eating fork, not a barbecue fork.
Well, you're the expert, being Knife Shop Australia's, manager. If someone came to you and said they wanted a camping knife and fork, you'd instantly go to lightweight.
Yes.
Right? Every bit of weight counts when you're doing camping. No one's talking.
No.
I don't think that's better words than each other.
No.
I said, I think the biggest issue is that it's two products and it's really stressing people out.
Yeah.
They're almost an hour in. Like, not much time.
Twisting is a popular blacksmithing technique used to create decorative and functional twists in metal bars. This technique is often employed to add visual interest, texture, and depth to various types of metalwork, including gates, railings, and even knife handles.
I found when I was first learning, having oversized handles makes it extremely difficult to shape your scales from it.
Yeah.
So as I was saying earlier, 5 to 10 mil is also a good opportunity. Sort of think about it, gives you a lot of leeway.
Yeah, I found that out hard way. Like when I started out, I oversized everything and just learned to hate making the handles because all I was doing was just grind into it. And now I try and split my scales to be as thin as possible and as close as I can be to my final dimension, so I've got the least amount of material to actually remove.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be able to sort of like visualize that sometimes.
Oh, it's extremely difficult. And it's the same thing I always say to students, right? One of the very, very first things you need to get is proportionality in design.
Yeah.
That is the most critical in my part. And that brings us into our sponsor, Knife Print. It's funny, actually, when I first got into knife making, I got onto knife print straight away. And I really believe it's one of the reasons why I got good so quickly. Not only was I good at taking on feedback and putting it on board, which is a different sort of discussion we can have, so some people aren't good at implementing feedback. But not only what Knife Print does, it's basically an online CAD program where it lets you fiddle around with little bits of knife design.
Yep.
So it gives you the really quick ability to see whether it's even worth you spending the time to make. And as we know with anything handmade, if you start with a good foundation, a good design, you're going to improve a lot better.
That's right. Once again, it's another thing I struggled with when I started out, and I think everyone struggles with it when they start making is how do knife?
Yeah.
Like, knives look a certain way, and when you get into it, you'll want to make this perfect knife that you've never seen before. And usually there's a reason why that knife doesn't exist, and it's because it doesn't work and it's not going to be good. But a lot of people spend that first 12 months of making sort of learning these lessons the hard way. But something as simple as a visual reference, like a repository of knife designs that you can pick from, modify, take inspiration from.
That's another good thing that they do, yeah. So if you're a knife design, you can actually have a repository where you can have a look at other people's designs, not only give you a good idea if that's the style you like, you could also copy that design and give it a go.
Yeah, to have all that in a database, when I started, we never had anything like that. If we did, I would have used it straight away. And listening to you guys now, I want to get this.
Definitely give it a go.
And give it a go. I was always the same. Everything was too big, too thick. I spent a lot of time on the grinder, taking things down.
Yep.
Having something like Knife Print, a database, being able to go and change and alter the shapes,
just tweak things
of the blades and the handles and everything. It sounds great.
Check out knifeprint.com and use code FDU25 for 25% off your first purchase.
I see you've done something interesting here.
Well, it's just my roasting fork. The idea is you stick your meat on the end of it.
Yep.
And you can turn away, stick it over the fire. You should be able to stick a camp oven on the other end.
Yeah, no. Really, really like what you're doing. I was wondering what you were doing with that earlier.
Yeah, well.
But, yeah, very clever.
You need a good long floor spike to plang it in or it just fall over on you.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we've got time. We might add another part to it, yeah?
No, that's great. I really, really like it. Yeah, how are you tracking and what are your plans?
It's going great.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, it's basically forged. So next step is actually normalizing and grilling.
Oh, you're already up to that step. Nice.
Yeah, I'd say that.
How are you going for your fork?
It's going good also.
Yep.
I'm making a loop in the end, just for fun.
All right.
Yeah.
No worries. We'll see how you go.
Yeah, feels good.
How you going, mate?
I'm going pretty good. I'm just starting to get the fork for my fork.
Yep.
I got the blade in the forge, got the tang drawn out.
Yep.
I've had to cut it back a couple of times.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yep.
It's impressive that you're doing this all by hand as well. So
I don't have a press or a hammer at home, so it's all forearm strength.
Yep. No, that's good. You're doing really well.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Tracking nicely. The arm's getting a bit tired though.
2 hours, guys. 2 hours remaining.
At an hour in, I was panicking because the blade that I had started was not taking shape. It was like 3 times the amount of steel that I needed. It was starting to look like a Bowie knife, which wasn't what I had in plan. It was just going the wrong way. I think I better start a new knife and see where I can get with it.
Redesigned it a bit?
Yeah, just a wee bit. The other, I had far too much steel for what I was trying to do.
Yeah, right, No, that's looking good. What's the new thought?
Just
what sort of shape?
Just drop point camp knife, something you can cut steak with.
Yeah.
Use it for a bit of whittling.
Get on it, muscles. Go on, you can do it.
I think Tristan's doing quite well. I'm liking the look of that fourth polka. He's got a nice twist on that. I'm a little bit worried that maybe there's some cold shuts in there, but we'll see what it's like at the end.
I like what he's doing with it being more of a fire poker.
Yeah.
Can still fit the camping theme. My only concern is how thick it is. It is really heavy.
It is big, yes.
Yeah, it's definitely bulky. I'm getting more sort of fireplace vibes from it at the moment.
Yeah. Patrick's doing a great job. I quite like the way that both of his knife and his fork are matching, and he's taking the time to actually compare the two and make sure that the aesthetics and size are matching.
They're not individual pieces, they're a set.
I'm just setting the angle for the bevels on this grind, so the thickness of the blade's about 4.9 mil.
Yep.
So divide that by 2 gives me about 2.45. We'll call it 2.2, so I got a little bit for the second bevel.
So a little bit of maths involved.
Throw that into the app on my phone and it tells you what angle you need.
Surefire way to get where you want, I guess.
Well,
that's nice.
So it says about 3.14, so smidge over 3, that should be close enough. We'll have a crack.
Oh, we'll see how she comes out. Solid idea.
It's worked for me thus far.
Did you make the jig yourself?
Nah, a friend of mine gave it to me. Somebody gave it to him, so
yeah.
I'd like to shout out whoever made this. It works brilliant.
A knife bevel guide jig is a tool used in knife making to assist in maintaining consistent and accurate bevel angles while grinding or sharpening the blade. It helps knife makers achieve symmetrical bevels and ensures that the blade edge is ground or sharpened at the desired angle.
It's not looking great, but I think it'll brush up well enough. I've got some nice double twists in here, one going one way, one going the other. I'm kind of worried about all this cracking up here. It's not really a poker kind of design, but with a bit of luck, it'll turn out not too bad.
1 hour left. Make use of it. You liking how it's looking so far?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's going good. It's not bad.
I'm liking the profiles.
Yeah.
What are you thinking for handle materials?
Something that doesn't shatter easily.
Okay.
So no wood, maybe stabilized, but I wouldn't know if it is or not. So.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Less than an hour to go.
Yeah.
Blade profile's looking good.
Yeah, it looks nice. We just need some grinding.
Yep.
I've got the holes drilled in for my handle blank.
Do you think it's going to get done in time?
I think so. I think my blade will be ready, but I don't know about the poker. I don't think it'll be to finish quality, but we'll see how we go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
How are we going now?
Yeah, hopefully all right.
Yeah, not too
Hopefully
bad.
all right, yeah. Happier with this blade than I was with that other rubbish.
That's
good.
good.
For certain.
Got a fair few pieces on the table.
Oh, there's a couple there. I was thinking of another one, but I'm not going to have time to worry with it.
Yeah, all right.
Camp cooker, camping, you want a good bush cooking.
Yep.
You know. See how it goes.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Controlling the heating and cooling rate is crucial in knife heat treatment because it directly affects the resulting metallurgical structure of the blade.
Nice and straight, all good. Just a bit hot. It's got a nice and even straw color, so that means that it's gone up to about 180, 190 degrees, which is pretty good for a camp knife.
Looks like Patrick has aced the temper. It is a very light knife, I like it. I like that he's actually forged a knife quite thin. That is a big problem when it comes to thick and soft material. People won't think about to thin it out.
It does look like a very usable and ergonomic knife.
Minutes, guys. 30 minutes left. Start stressing out. I think that tip's going to get a bit hot there.
Yeah.
See, the back's not, which isn't the be all end all, but
he's holding it directly under that burner.
He's looking now for where to quench it.
It was an uneven heat, but the bit that was hot was the important bit. So, if anything, that could be beneficial.
How'd you go, Tristan?
I think it's
How do
pretty
you think
good.
you went?
I'm going to grab a file and see.
Yeah. No, he's testing it too soon. We've got to wait.
I had to do another quench in the end because I quenched it and hit it with the file to see if it was hard or not, and it was still taking the bite, so I knew it was not hard enough.
Mike, what do you know about a flame temper?
Very little.
Actually, it seems to be a trend in the show.
Well,
it is the most traditional way to blacksmith.
Yeah,
but
it
a lot
is.
of modern makers aren't actually aware on how to do it too successfully. So I like your plan there. You hit it at the back and you let in that heat work.
That's right. Just going to try and wait for that red, that straw, just into that, just before purple.
That's exactly what you should do.
Peacock, I think they call that particular colour. But
Do you do any sort of cooking?
yeah, a tiny bit.
Think about this as spaghetti, right?
Yeah.
You're still going to keep cooking after you take it off the heat.
Should it stick to the roof if I throw it there?
So make sure you account for the overcooking, okay? Good luck.
First time I've ever done a forged temper, but I think I got the temper okay. We'll just have to wait for testing and find out.
15 minutes. We will judge you based on your current progression.
Bit shaky.
Why is that?
Because I've just realised that the brief was actually fork and knife, and the whole time I've been making a fire poker and not a fork. So I've had to switch it up and turn it into a fork at the last minute. So we'll see how it goes.
I don't know, do they?
I'm glad I realised though. Otherwise that could have been a disaster.
Seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tools down, guys. All right, guys, congratulations. You actually got past the first part and no one actually messed it up too badly. So that's always a good start. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into the first part of judging for the first 3-hour forging component. Again, this is going to be based on 3 categories with 1 to 5 points per category. So you can get 1 to 15 points, which would be cumulative to end of day judging. So these points are critical. Based on the last episode, the points were very close. All right, Jeff is going to start off with his judging and feedback.
Mate, I like the shape of your knife. I'm really impressed with how even the spacing is on the twist of your fork there, but I'm worried it's a little bit too specific use profile. Other than that, very good. I gave you a 13 out of 15.
Thank you.
Patrick, I love the proportions of your knife and fork. I think the aesthetic of them, really, really good. I think for the size of the fork, you could have made the tines a little bit closer together. Our mouths aren't really that big, and I'd be worried about poking myself. But overall, I gave you 15.
Thank you.
Tristan, I like the profile of your knife. I think you're going to need to put a pretty decent sized handle on that to counter the weight of it. And your fork looks cool, but I'm not too sure how well it's going to work. It looks very, very heavy, particularly as for marshmallow roasting, which looks like. I've given you a 9 out of 15. Good job though.
Mike, I really like the direction you're going. I like the idea of having the sort of holder for your fork. I do like the fork, but I do, again, maybe have to decide later whether it's going to fit for theme. So later on, we're going to ask an explanation from you guys how it fits into theme as well. Okay, so have a think about that because that may be really important. Basically, I like the direction you're going. I'd love to see how you're going to sort of change it up from now, but I've given you a total score of 12 out of 15. So good job.
Thank you.
All right, Patrick.
Yes.
Love your direction. You weren't stressing out too much through there. It sort of shows with the way that you work that you're more used to forging profiles in and doing a lot of the work by hand, which goes to show that you don't have the power tools as you mentioned earlier. So it really showed up now. I like the direction you're going. Again, my main feedback would be the fork. I do have a very small mouth, and people do say I talk a lot, but you know that doesn't really matter. My only other really feedback would be the grind of your blade needs a little bit more pay attention to, okay? Especially if you want the high fit and finish. But I gave you a total score of 12 as well. Good work. Thank you. All right, Tristan. I like the way you're going again. Good job recovering from the blade. You had a few issues, mainly because you've never used the big power tools before, such as the press. That is quite a powerful press and it will do a lot of damage if you're not sure. So you're doing really well for how much experience you have. Really impressed with the way you're going. My only feedback would be, yes, make sure you go for a bigger handle because the balance will be important. maybe re-look at your grind and maybe have a re-look at your fork as well, being very heavy. Okay, I gave you a total score of 11, so good work.
Thank you. Righto, Mike. I really like what you've made in this first round. The fork is the one thing that I'm unsure of, just being so large. In my eyes, what I imagine being a fork is something you would use to be able to eat with, and that I think might be a touch oversized. How we finish off the rest, we'll see. But what I love is how everything's a matching set. It's all obviously meant to be used together as one unit, and I really like that. So overall, I've scored you 11.
All right.
Patrick, so your knife and fork, I really, really like. The neatness and how you forged it shows in where you're up to now. The one little hiccup in the grind I found on this side, slightly uneven. That's the only real fault that I can find in it. Other than that, I'm really impressed with what you've made, and for that, I've scored you 13. Tristan, I love your knife, especially the way you recovered from the handle getting sandwiched on the press. Really good job coming back from that. The fork, I love it right up until we get to the tip where just a little bit messy with the hammer marks in it. Other than that, I think it's still a pretty good touch oversized. For all these reasons, I've given you 10.
Thank you. All right, guys, congratulations. Everyone did really well, and as I did mention earlier, statistically, just going by the first episode, these points really help for the next part, but the points are very close as they were last show, so it shows that everyone's doing really well. It's still anyone's game, so you have 2 hours for the next part to really dial in those themes: fit and finish, fit for purpose, proportionality. That will make a massive difference at the end of the part of today, okay? So, Mike, your total score is 36. Really, really good work. Patrick, 40, and Tristan, 30. So that's close. So next part is going to be a rubrics, but have 5 categories, which are going to be 1 to 5 points. So everyone can still recover from this, or someone can get really further ahead of everyone. So have a think about how you're going to approach it. The next part is going to be 2 hours forging, or 2 hours for the whole completed kit of a knife and fork, okay? Maybe some people need to think about whether they want to resize some of their work or reapproach it, or they can go in with it and then give us an explanation before we do the next judging and why you believe it fits a camping theme. Just remember, all judging is based on judges' opinion on the theme, so we'll still account for your explanation to a degree. All right, you ready? Your time starts now.
I have a mad cramp going.
You're up?
Yeah. No, I couldn't put it together.
Stress levels are pretty high. I've just friction fit my handle and now it won't come apart.
Hour and a half left, guys. 1 hour and a half.
Perfect time to come and ask how everything's going, eh?
Yeah. Well, I hope it's going all right. You got me worried about that fork I made now. You say, you say you think of a fork as for eating. Well, I've made more of a carving fork, where you use it as a roasting fork, stick it on a plate, use it as a carving fork and dish it out to everyone that's there, you know.
100%.
You make a single knife and fork, well, you're the only one that's eating, no?
See, that could be it. I mean, that's the beauty of having it as a theme rather than a set thing for you to make, is it allows you to take your interpretation of what a camping fork is.
Well, it's definitely camping. It's a fork.
Well, there you go. Nothing to worry about then.
I saw the super glue on the shelf and thought, you know what, that'll do. I did not realise that the epoxy was 5 minutes set epoxy.
One hour to go.
I'm just trying to even it out a little bit more rather than have a big curve on one side and the other side be sort of straight up and down like it is now.
It's the last minute kind of thing, or?
Yeah, you can see how this one comes out and then goes up, whereas the other one just sort of went straight up. So I'm going to try and even it out a little bit.
You're doing some hand sanding.
Well,
You're right in for the fit and finish.
you can't really finish a knife without getting some of the lines out of it.
What grit did you come off the belts at?
I came off at 120. You can often go a bit more than that, I suppose. But
And then you're working back at 120 now to get those deep scratches out?
that's it.
All right, for anyone at home, hand sanding a hard blade is not fun and it's quite time consuming. So I'll be interested to see how well you do your fit and finish. Because there's really no point in doing a sand satin finish if you don't do it well. So see how you go.
I'm keeping a lot of these imperfections in the blade because I feel, you know, you're outdoor, it's rugged, it's rough.
Rustic, yep.
It fits the theme, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, for a small handle, I think it fits well in the hand still.
Yep, okay. How are you tracking? We've got 44 minutes left.
I think I'll be doing well.
All right.
A forged texture is indeed a distinctive and visually appealing aspect of knife making. Forged textures not only enhance the aesthetics of the knife, but can offer certain protective and functional benefits.
No idea what I'm doing. No idea what I'm doing. Kind of gone for like a wood turner, marshmallow poker, tent peg hammerer type thing. But it's ugly. It's very bloody ugly. We'll see how it goes. I've got my knife almost finished, or it is finished. I've got some last minute things to do. And with 20 minutes on the clock, I'll be close.
We're down to 20 minutes. The game has changed a little bit. I think the stress and the time constraints are really catching up on some people, which is going to show in the fit and finish. So, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's anyone's game at the moment still. Some people I thought would have been a bit further ahead are actually really detracting themselves at the moment by rushing.
I agree. I think this is where we're going to start seeing sacrifices made. You know, I reckon fit and finish is going to start getting neglected in fear of running out of time.
10 minutes, guys, 10 minutes only. Final 10-minute call. Make sure you have everything done before the 10-minute mark. Tools will be put down at 10 minutes.
I'm panicking over that temper now.
5 seconds. Tools down, guys. Congratulations, you've got through this far. Have you done as much as you thought you'd be able to achieve in that 2 hours?
I've done a little bit more than I thought I'd be able to do in those 2 hours. Yeah. I'm happy with what I've presented.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you think you're going to go judging-wise?
I think I'll do all right. I don't think I've failed completely, but I'll do all right.
Okay. All right, Patrick, how do you think you went, mate?
Yeah, maybe regretted a few times setting up for 2 handles, but yeah.
Yeah, that was, you sort of just lose a bit of time in the end.
Yeah.
2 handles is a big stretch. So how do you think you went overall?
Overall, I think it's pretty okay. I hope so, but we'll see. There's things I should have done better, but
it's always hindsight.
I'm not letting
right?
you know.
It's always hindsight, and time constraints really, you have to make decisions, right?
Yeah.
So, no, good job.
Thanks.
All right. How do you think you went?
I hope I did all right.
Yeah.
I got more done than I thought I was going to be able to get done.
I've seen a very similar knife that came out of the first round.
Really?
Yeah, very similar.
Like it's almost
Great
a scaled
minds
down
think
version
alike.
of it. Yeah.
So how do you think you went overall in the time frame? Is there anything that you sort of didn't achieve in there?
With the forging, I would have liked to have gotten my fork a bit nicer. I took into account what you guys said at the start, but it's purpose-built. That's what it is. To change it wouldn't be what it is. It's a roasting fork, not an eating fork.
Yeah, perfect.
Righto, Mike. Ready to test your knife?
Yeah, let's give her a crack, eh?
Pass it to me. Thank you very much. So, in this test, we're going to be batoning the tip, middle and heel of your knife through this bit of brass rod. And this is to check mainly the heat treat of the knife. If there's an issue in the heat treat, this will tell us.
You're going to know it.
Feeling confident?
But not on the tip, no.
Now we'll go to the middle.
Looks all right.
Good job. No damage at all.
Thank you very much.
Patrick,
Yes.
time for your blade.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
What are your thoughts? Do you think she's going to get through it?
It's very thin, so I'm not sure at all. We'll see. Go for it.
Rightio, we'll start at the tip. In the middle. Same thing, no damage at all. Clean cuts into the copper.
Good job.
Good job. Rightio.
I suppose it's my turn.
Tricky Tristan. Let's see how she fares. How you feeling? You reckon you'll get through it all right?
I don't think it'll go through it, but we'll see how it goes on damage.
I can hit it extra hard if you like, and we'll
Go for it.
In the middle. And right up near the back. I've got to make sure I don't smack my hand. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nah. Same result.
Good job, guys. Good job. So basically, as you can see, we're not purposely trying to destroy your knives. What we're doing is just some tests to see how you went through the overall process. So good job, guys. What we're going to go into now is by far what will probably likely destroy your knives, which is going to be the bone test. All right, guys, basically what I'll be doing now is by far the hardest test we will put your knives through. And this is purely to test your overall strength of your blade, that the heat treat and temper was correct. 99% of the time, this is going to damage most knives, okay? And I will be hitting it quite hard. All right, everyone ready?
Yes.
How do you think you're going to go?
Hoping for the best.
All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in and hit it quite hard here 3 times. Okay. So there is quite significant rolling, but overall hasn't taken too much away from your edge, so it's probably still going to cut. However, it was sliding a lot in my hand, so your indexability is needs a little bit of work because you can see how that was rolling. So otherwise, good job.
Thank you.
Right, Patrick,
Yes.
how do you think you're going to go?
No idea. Never tried before, so go for it. We'll see how it looks afterwards.
It's always the first time.
It is. Lots
All
of
right.
first.
Right, we ready? No damage at all.
Wow.
Very, very slight edge being taken away. And that actually went quite far into the bone. You heard the difference because I had that indexability. I could get that extra little bit of depth in on it. Really good job.
Thank you.
All right. Tristan, lucky last.
Lucky last.
Is it always lucky though?
No. Well, they do say third time's the charm.
Well, let's see. All right.
We'll soon find out.
Handle's not actually too bad. That does feel really good. Very, very, very slight rolling. So it's not as bad as the first one, but your handles come loose.
Has
There's
it?
a little bit of wiggling in here.
That's the super glue. Should have gone with epoxy.
Quite a lot of wiggling actually. Did you glue your handle?
I super glued it.
Okay.
I didn't think I had
Overall,
time for epoxy.
damage is not too bad. And you see it actually took the last bit off the bone. So very impressive. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, for the third cut test, this is going to be the least damaging to your blade.
Thanks.
I'm going to try and cut cleanly through a standard piece of A4 paper. Start with yours. What's left of that edge is pretty good.
Yeah. The bone didn't like the middle.
Not too bad. Given what it's been through.
Thank you very much.
Next, yours.
Yes. Go for it.
You do seem to have lost a bit of edge there. Yeah.
Should have brought the stock.
Thank you. And last. Not much of an edge left there at all.
No.
A lot there, sorry.
Guys, before we continue judging, as I mentioned earlier, we would love an explanation of why you and what you've built fits in with a theme. Our theme was camping, and it was making a knife and a fork. And I said we want justification of why you think you've met those metrics, but it is part of the rubrics we will be judging you. Mike, we'll start with you.
All right, we've got a roasting fork, which is a fork. I guess you can use it as a carving fork if you'd like, but the main thing is it's a camp cooker. It's designed for catching something, small rabbit, whatever you like, forking it on, and it's a roasting fork. You can then just turn it over the fire while you're sitting back with a cold one. If you're so inclined, you can put your camp oven on the other end. It is a fork, it's a roasting fork, and somewhat of a carving knife, hunting knife, camp knife, utility knife to go with it.
Okay, so do you believe you've met the theme?
I believe so, yeah. And they're my camp cookers that I make quite often, and it's a camp cooker, it's for camping.
All right, no, good job. That's all we needed, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Patrick, we'll start with you next.
Yes. I made a kit that's usable, quite easy to bring in your bag. And you can use it while cooking in a pan or something, and you can also use it to eat. So, small, compact, easy to use, and a knife with it, which is kind of utilitarian. It's not a cooking knife, it's not an axe. But, yeah.
Okay, so Patrick, you believe your product has met the theme?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, Tristan, we'll start with you next.
I've made a marshmallow roasting fork because what else would you do while you're out camping? Nice sharp prongs so that you could stick it into a piece of meat and carve with it, but nice and sharp, stick your marshmallows in. I also have a bulbed head on here if you would like to bash tent pegs in, so multifunctional. But yes, still a fork. My knife has a nice curved edge to it. Say we were to go camping near the beach, you might need a fillet of fish. You'll go way out bush, maybe cut up a rabbit, a wallaby, something like that. It's nice and thick. You can cut through veggies, meat, but it's still, I believe, thin enough to fillet a fish.
So, Tristan, do you believe your products have met the theme for the show?
I believe they have, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Yes.
I loved your knife.
Thank you.
The overall profile of the blade is fantastic. I really like that. I do find that the handle's a little bit too heavy for me.
Okay.
I gave you an overall score of 18.
Thank you.
Mike, I actually love your overall theme. I like what you did with the whole camping, sort of having the stick sort of sit there and you can rotate it. I really like what you've done. I like the shape of the blade. The way you've explained it does fit into the theme with me, so congratulations. I didn't like the index of the handle,
yes,
but overall that didn't really mark you down. And for me, I gave you a total score of 17, so good job.
Thank you.
I love what you did there, and with the whole trivet and the roasting fork, it screams camping to me.
Yeah, man.
And to me, just that alone would make any knife you put next to it a camping knife. The fact that it took such little damage as well just stands next to the skill you exhibited making it.
Thank you.
The fit and the finish isn't too bad there. It could have been executed a little bit better.
Yeah.
The handle is slightly chunky. It didn't bother me too much. I have big hands.
Yeah.
You know, for those reasons, I gave you a 19.
Thank you very much.
All right, good job.
Thank you.
Patrick,
Yes.
I really like the size and proportions that you've made your knife and fork. The ergonomics of them work quite well. I did find that your handles were a touch too thick in my opinion. For that, I've given you a rating of 19 out of 25. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Patrick, I really like what you've done with the theme. It definitely comes under camping, knife and fork to me. I like your size, I like the proportions, nice and aesthetic. What I don't like is your handles. A little bit more time. I guess if you started with thinner handles, it would have been a lot easier for you, but it didn't really affect my overall scoring for you, but I gave you a total score of 16 out of 25, so good job.
Thank you.
All right, Patrick. I really like the two pieces you've made. They, in my opinion, definitely fit within a camping theme. You'd be able to fit them both together in a small pack-out bag type deal, and that's what you take with you camping.
Yep.
So the one thing that I guess I could be critical about was maybe the handles being a touch too bulky, and some of the contouring could have been done slightly better, maybe a bit more sculpted rather than scalloped.
Yeah.
For those reasons, I gave you a score of 19.
Thank you.
Tristan, I really liked your knife design. It feels really good, the shape of it, the way that you explained it works really well for the piece. Unfortunately, your handle did have a bit of a catastrophic breakage there. And I do still think that your fork is just a little bit too oversized. If I gave that as a marshmallow stick to one of my daughters, they'd fall over. Make a good carving fork though. For that, I've given you a score out of 15 out of 25.
Thank you.
All right, Tristan, I really like the overall theme you've done. I love the shape of the blade. I love the handle. It fits my small hands perfectly. I like the sort of barbecue-esque style. It still fits the camping theme with the way you explained it. Personally, I wasn't a big fan of the way you design your fork being really bulky, but in the end, it actually looks really proportionate. I really do like the way you've changed the teeth.
Thank you.
For me, I'd love to have that. So I gave you a total score of 20 out of 25, so good work.
Thank you.
All right, Tristan. I really like the aesthetic of the fork. I think it looks cool as all hell. With that, it is quite heavy. So
Yes.
for a certain type of person, myself, would love the fork like that. But as you mentioned, it would be a little bit cumbersome in all camping scenarios. Outside of that, it is a functional tool. And having the hammer at the other end, making it double use is, cream on top. The knife I really liked. The one thing that really detracted for me was the handle breaking apart. I actually really liked the handle, and the fit and finish was good if it was in one piece. For those reasons, I gave you a score of 14.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that is the end of day one, round 1 and 2. Amazing work from everybody. It just goes to show when you try something different and you challenge yourself, you can do crazy things. You guys have done very impressive work for the time frame you've done.
Thank you.
3 hours to do a knife and fork and then a 2-hour finishing component. That's more than what most people do in such a short time, so you should all be very impressed. So we're not going to drag our feet here. We're going to go straight into judging. So as I said earlier, this is based on rubrics. The first rubrics is 1 to 5 out of 3 categories, up to 15 points. So basically, Mike, you got 36 points for this morning.
Yes.
Patrick, you got 41. Tristan, you got 30. So you had the opportunity to catch up with the second part of the rubrics, which we've just judged you based on, okay? So that's 1 to 25 points. So Mike, you scored a total of 54 points. Patrick, you scored a total of 54 points. Dead even. As I did mention earlier, that generally the way the rubrics is constructed is very close score-wise. Tristan, you scored a total of 49 points. So you got quite a lot of points catching up. So you weren't very far behind this one. But overall, you are leading today based on the first part of the show because you scored the lowest. So you got a total of 79 points. What I will say before I go over the final points, you did very good for being a 16-year-old, throwing yourself into it, being so adaptive. I don't think a lot of people realize how difficult what you guys have done, all right? Using someone else's workshop, getting thrown right into it, being so adaptive, very impressive work. So congratulations, really shows a good, you're gonna have a lot of success in the future, I think, especially with your age. So Patrick, you scored a total of 95 points cumulatively, and Mike, you got 90 points. So congratulations. Patrick, you're first. Mike, you're second.
Thank you.
And Tristan, you just didn't come through, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, really good work.
Thank you.
Impressive.
I'm a bit disappointed, obviously. I would have liked to stayed for the other rounds, but yeah, I put some more years under my belt and maybe I might come back in a later season.
It's a shame that the young bloke didn't make it through. At 16-year-old, he's come leap and bounds. Making knives at his age, he's got the time in front of him to really make something of himself.
A big shout out to our awesome Patreons for helping support the show.